Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It's me, Joey P. Joe P. Zapia. With me today is Scott Bogman, and it's you. And we're talking about Thursday Night Football. That's right. We've got the Indianapolis Colts. We've got the Denver Broncos. We don't have Jonathan Taylor, though. He will not be playing in this game. So we're going to get, of course, what everybody's been waiting their entire lives for, the Philip Lindsay revenge game. Let's go, Scott Bogman.
Philip Lindsay revenge game. No, I think Philip Lindsay, I love Philip Lindsay, but I mean, come on. He was an undrafted free agent out of Colorado. They kind of gave him a shot because he was a local product in Denver, and it worked out. That's great. He should be thanking the Broncos, not mad at them for anything. And what did they pivot to the poster for this game too, by the way? Wasn't it Javonte and JT last week when they were showing it off? And now, Javonte out for the year, JT out for this game. So
now it's Mike Boone and an offensive lineman in Indianapolis.
Right. Quentin Nelson and Draymond Jones.
Two pictures of horses. That's what it is. It's just two pictures of horses. But regardless, even if it's a game maybe we're not as excited about as we were maybe a week ago, we're going to get more excited about it because we've got wagering to talk about. So let's get after it. Let's talk about what we have ahead of us here in this contest. So the Indianapolis Colts on the road in Denver are 3.5-point underdogs in this one. Obviously, that certainly makes sense. We're not getting a huge confidence level here from Vegas on Denver. Denver is going to be without Javonte Williams. We know that too. So we're going to get Melvin Gordon. Can he continue to get the fumbleitis under control? The number is 42 for this game. If you like the upset, the plus 150 money line on the Colts. So Boggs, what do you think of the lines here when we're looking at this game?
Interesting too, because all of Russell Wilson's props just came off of some of these books. So I know he's questionable coming in here. Definitely gimpy, probably more because of that than anything that we're just not seeing yet. But look, Monday Night Football, I was completely wrong on game script. The nice thing about this game is I don't really have a feel for game script in this one outside of both these teams should pass way more because their top running backs are down. So I think I'd lean towards a home team here, take Denver, and I'll go towards the over because I think there's going to be more passes. So not a great lean either way, but if I had to pick a game script, it would be a little bit more passing than we've seen from these teams. So I'll head towards the over and the home team.
Colts are coming off a tough loss there in division to the Titans. In some ways, I think it's always good when you don't have as much time to dwell on that. But in terms of preparation and coming into this game without their number one RB, it feels really hard to think that the Colts have a good chance in this game for me. Like, they just don't look like a team that's functioning properly at this point. And everybody loves Frank Reich. I love Frank Reich. We all have a soft spot in our hearts for Frank Reich when he was a quarterback back for the Buffalo Bills, leading epic comebacks and whatnot. And I think he's a pretty
not
good
where I'm
coach.
from. Not in Houston. Yeah.
Not in Houston. But at the same time, I love the old Houston Oilers logo, man. I'll give you old school Houston Oilers. Yeah, baby. Let's go. But it just feels like, despite all the shortcomings of the Broncos this year, that the Broncos really should win this game and win it comfortably. Again, I don't want to say handily, but this should not be a game where the Broncos, and the only thing that could give the Colts extra chances, I feel like, is one of two things. It's either the health of Russell Wilson, which, again, maybe a little in question, especially on the short week, and it's the fumble issues that Melvin Gordon has showed so far this year. When you give up opportunities, especially you're in the red zone, you're about to score, and you cough up a ball, that changes the mojo of a game significantly. So they got to get that under wraps. And I know because of the big running backs missing, all of a sudden now the prop market in this game is really opened up because now you got so many. You got Lindsay involved, you got Boone involved, you got you got Gordon, you've got backup running backs, you got Dion in there. Like, so many guys now to choose from. I feel like a lot of it's going to be a trap though tonight. I feel, Bog. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm filling in for D-Bro again, and I'm looking at these props in the last hour or so, and I'm going, oh. I mean, I'm also a little gun shy because I was 0 on Monday, right? But
that's okay. I gave everybody the 49ers for the victory clear off.
You did. You got it. So
dominating the Rams. Just want to say.
I think, it kind of boils down to let's just take some common sense ones. I think that's more than I'm taking fewer risks than I normally would. There's no defensive, no sacks on here for me, even though I do think there will be sacks. It's hard to know who will get them. So for me, we're going all offensive props today, and I think some of these should be fairly easy.
All right, let's start with Matt Ryan, which is a low one here. The 1.5 passing touchdowns. You get plus 125 on this number for the over. Is that one you like?
That is one I like. It's one I like a lot because, look, you take away not just your leading back, but your big goal line thumper in Jonathan Taylor as well. And they have so many guys. Alec Pierce is a giant. Michael Pittman's a giant. Granson and Mo Alley Cox are great red zone targets. Nyheim Hines can catch the ball.
Yeah, Jelani Woods caught a couple touchdowns.
Woods is enormous, and he caught two the other week, right? So they just have too many targets, I think, for him. If they get down there without JT, it's going to be pass first. So it's plus money as well. So I like the over 1.5, Joe. That's one of my favorites.
All right, let's continue on here, and let's stick with Nyheim Hines. Now, I know the juice is very heavy on the minus 165 for the 3.5 receptions. And I know on bettingpros.com and our prop bet cheat sheet, this is probably a smash here. But I know you can also change this a little bit. And, some spots you could choose your own adventure there a little bit. We talk about that all the time. So 3.5 seems like a lock. So maybe this is something you start a parlay with. But he averages, when Jonathan Taylor's out, was it 7, I believe, receptions?
Yeah. Shout out to Andrew Erickson.
Huge difference. Yeah.
We're talking to him before the show, and he said, what is that? What's that Hines, reception prop at? Because he averages 7 without JT. It's 3.5. Like you said, the juice is bad, minus 165, but there are some books, as you mentioned before, where you can get alternate lines, maybe get that up to plus. I think you're going to see a decent amount of Nyheim Hines. And, this was the whole thing. Coming into the season, I don't like Hines when Jonathan Taylor's on this team because it's hard to give him the football when you have the best running back in the NFL on your team. But Nyheim Hines is a lot like Austin Eckler, like size, build, production as well in college, that type of stuff. He's very Austin Eckler-ish. So I think we could see that type of a game for him. So 3.5 is just easy. And I know the juice is bad, but I think I'm going to do two units on that one just to make sure I get up to standard here. But that seems like, unless he twists an ankle or something, that one seems like a lock.
Well, the other thing I would say is on places like FanDuel, we could do the alternate receiving yards, right? Like they start at 25 at minus 128. Then you can get to 40 or 40 and above at plus 194. And if you think he's going to get 7 receptions, then you probably thinking, well, we got somewhere around at least the 40 to 50 range for those receiving yards.
I mean, that's just 50, taking one and turning it upfield too.
Exactly. It's taking literally one and getting, he could get it on one. That's it. And I think that you add that in, and even if you want to push it a little bit further to the 50 yards, that's plus 320 you can get on FanDuel in the alternate receiving yard. So I think the 40 is a sweet spot at plus 194. You don't get greedy and you take that as part of it. But I think what you want to do is you want to squeeze that number a little bit because you can't necessarily get the alternate receiving line, but you can get the receiving yards. And if you're doing the math properly, that's the way you kind of tweak this one. That's how I'm at there for Boggs. All right, let's go to another one here for Nyheim Hines. So let's do the total 68.5, the total yards. Once again, we're at 40 or 50 already for the receiving. This is not a whole lot to get, but there might be some other names at play here that could stymie this one. So do you like the over or the under at 68.5?
I like the over on that total. I just think we're going to see multiple touches for Hines. I think, between receptions and carries, it's going to be somewhere between 15 and 20 for him. So with JT down, Nyheim Hines has to step up for them to be in this game. And, the receiving side is high. The rushing side is low. So let's just do the combine. And now I don't care how he gets it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any difference to me. If he snaps one off, a big one off in the run game, great. If he does in the pass game, great. Either way, they're counting for my yards total. So 68.5 is what I like. And it's minus 110, which is pretty decent juice for a total that small too.
Okay, let's continue on with some of the favorite props. Let's do the other side here. Let's talk a little Denver Broncos. Cortland Sutton, 66.5 is the number for him. Minus 115 is the juice. You like the over or the under for Cortland Sutton?
Life's too short to bet the under, Joe. Let's go with the over on Cortland. Plus, as we mentioned, you're probably gonna pass a little bit more. Without Javonte, without JT in this game, that could lead towards more points and more success for both these teams. Once again, a guy breaks off a big completion, and Cortland Sutton isn't that guy that's probably going to go 90 with one or anything, but he can get open deep. So if you give Russell Wilson the proper amount of Mississippis to keep Bradley Chubb off of his back, or to keep Kwity Paye off his back. I mean,
Mhm.
We can make this happen. Plus, I just think it's going to be a barrage of targets toward Cortland Sutton with the running game. And if Melvin Gordon fumbles again, they might just pass 70 times in this game instead of giving any running back the ball, because Mike Boone didn't look very effective either. So I love this number for Cortland Sutton. I'll go over it for sure.
All right, let's continue on here. After Cortland Sutton, let's go and find one of the tight ends. So it's been a little sporadic because different tight ends, different weeks for the Indianapolis Colts. Mo Alley-Cox was the most recent one, though. 19.5 receiving yards, -115, over or under?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see this rapport really develop. We saw a little bit of it in the preseason with Matt Ryan, and there was the, I think someone had the stat of look in the preseason when Matt Ryan and Mo Alley-Cox are on the field, Mo Alley-Cox is running like 70% routes or something absurd like that. So I think we're starting to see that develop a little more in the regular season. Kylan Granson, obviously a very good tight end as well, but once again, you're down your main focus in your running back. That means extra targets for pretty much everybody here. And I think Mo Alley-Cox could get this 19.5. Once again, a guy that could get it on all on one reception. That's why I like these low totals for the most part. So I think Mo Alley-Cox gets I could see 2 for 30, 3 for 30, something in that neighborhood. And that's just such a low total for him in a game without JT. So let's roll with Mo Alley-Cox getting over 19.5.
If you like that too, I also like the anytime touchdown score +430 for Mo Alley-Cox.
I like
think
that too.
It's a really good number. To me, that's something I would throw in there.
The only reason I didn't take that is because stupid Jelani Woods got in there and got 2.
I know, but look, if you're going to write the story, whenever
Sure.
you're doing this, it's writing the story of the game. So if you're going to be in for a penny, you might as well be in for a pound. You try to do, the Mo Alley-Cox number.
Money too.
You take the touchdown, and then you take the Nyheim Hines, just the receiving yards or the receiving, the receptions that we talked about before. One of those combinations of things. You put those all together, and you get a really good situation there potentially. But Melvin Gordon's +125. I think that's an easy way to make some money too. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get a touchdown in this game. Just seems to be, the way things are going, and you're still getting plus money on it, which is actually pretty good, all things considered. So I think that is one as well. It's the Melvin Gordon one, the Mo Alley-Cox one, and Nyheim Hines at +190 is not bad either. I could really see him getting in the end zone in this game too. And I'm not somebody who really likes to run out for those, but I feel like we're really trimmed down in terms of what's out in this game and available to us. And I think sometimes when you have that clarity, you take advantage of it, and you take advantage of the clarity. Let's keep talking about Melvin Gordon for a second. Let's talk about the prop bet cheat sheet over here. 15.5 rushing attempts. That's the number here. We're projected at 15. Again, this is more just asking about your thoughts on how they're going to use Melvin Gordon tonight. Do you think this is an over or an under?
I think if Melvin Gordon was 100% healthy and didn't have the fumbles recently, I would smash this number. I think I'm going to stay away. I think 15 is about correct. So I could see a little bit over, a little bit under either way, which makes me want to stay away. I don't think this is a smash. And for most prop bets, unless you're getting that big juice like +430 and stuff, I probably want to stay away.
I think the under on the Phillip Lindsay 38.5 rush yards is a good bet too.
Like that
too. I mean, 38.5 to me is a very big number for a guy who's just off the scrap heap, really. I just can't get there. And speaking of scrap heap too, Latavius Murray's not active for this game, just in case anybody cares.
Hey, you know what? That helps Melvin Gordon's total, his rush total a little bit, I think.
Fair enough.
Maybe we're closer to 17, 18 for him. Just hold on to that ball, Melvin. I wasn't a Melvin guy coming in this year. I don't have any shares in fantasy at all, but you're the guy now. You got to do it. So hold on to that football, please.
We've also got an interesting one here. Russell Wilson, 12.5 rushing yards. In the absence of Javonte Williams, I know I keep bringing this up, but I feel like it's time for Russell Wilson to use the athleticism a little more here. You say no because of the injury? Is that why?
No. Well, it's the injury, and you just lost Javonte. You're paying this guy $250 million.
You're paying him $250 million to carry your team, and you got to get some wins.
Not to rush for 12 yards. So for carry your team for the whole year, not for just Thursday Night Football. So no, I don't want him running at all in this game. I think the Broncos will be on the same page.
I also think it's intriguing is the Matt Ryan interception at 0.5. I would go the over on this one.
Yeah, any of those that are at with touchdowns, anything if you get a half on anyone, usually the juice is crap. So, but anyone that isn't Baker Mayfield, I think I take the over on a half touchdown, half a pick too. I mean, that's a bounce at the line. We saw Kenny Pickett have 3 picks last week. 2 of them were not his fault. Like,
right.
I'll give him crap for it. You should have thrown that Claypool one to the corner, but like, what did you draft Claypool for if not to win that contested catch? Right?
Don't even start me with Claypool.
And it hits off his hands. And then the Hail Mary at the end of the game to try to win it. So, I mean, guys will do that at the end of the half and throw a pick.
I mean, I think it's a lock. I think the 0.5 is another easy way to put in like a couple of simple things. I think the Matt Ryan over on the 0.5 interceptions there too. So what we like that. We all like the anytime touchdowns potentially for Mo Alley Cox, for Melvin Gordon, for Nyheim Hines, not necessarily in that order, but certainly part of it. And of course, Bogman's over on the Matt Ryan 1.5 passing TDs, over on the 3.5 receptions, over on the 68.5 for Nyheim Hines total yards. So the receptions over and the Nyheim Hines total yards. Cortland Sutton over on the 66.5 and Mo Alley Cox over on the 19.5 there. So hopefully a nice bounce back Thursday for Scott Bogman and for all of you as well. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe to Betting Pros right now on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Betting Pros. Click that little bell for notifications because we're here all the time doing live streams, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, just live streams when we feel like just talking into the ether, but also obviously on Sundays as well. We've got a lot of stuff going on here, CFB coverage also for all you college football folks. So check that out. Go check out bettingpros.com. And of course, check out the prop bet cheat sheet too for every single game coming up this week. Lots of fun wagers out there. Go put your best foot forward. Go put your money where it should be, in the right spot with the right projections and the right people behind you. And that's Betting Pros. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
See you.